Hello everyone, welcome to Josh's Boxes. My name is Josh. Today I am very excited to talk about what I've got in front of me because I have been drawing for 100 days now. It all started, I already made a video about drawing every day for 30 days. That'll be linked up here if you'd like to watch that video. Basically, to summarize, I drew this crappy X-Men list and especially like this Wolverine, and I was like, man, I suck at drawing. I want to get better. So I started drawing every day, and after 30 days, I could draw Wolverine like this. So definitely an improvement. But let's keep going and show you what I've done in the last 70 days. So right after I drew this Wolverine, I made a list of things that I wanted to work on. So I guess at the end we can see how I've done in all these things. I wanted to work on heads, hands, poses, proportions, feet, expressions, clothing, everything about girls, and hair. I definitely had difficulty drawing girls. So the very next day, I drew some heads. I think I already showed this in the last video, but I'm just kind of showing it anyways. I drew some heads. I tried different head shapes and proportions and stuff like that. It's fine. These are fine. I drew hands. Drawing hands sucks. The only ones that turn out good is that one, and this one, and maybe that one, and maybe that one. But all the rest of these are garbage, especially this guy. I hate this guy. What I'd been doing earlier is drawing characters from my favorite video games. So I drew this guy. He's a trooper from this phone game called Battle Nations, and good heavens did he turn out bad. Look at how garbage he is. So needless to say, I stopped drawing guys from that game. And then I tried drawing a hand and it turned out bad. And then there's this artist named JP Couvert. He has a Patreon that's really cool. He makes like D&D zines every month. And so I got open the Temple of the Waking Thread zine from him and drew one of the ghosts. Her name's Carla. I think it turned out pretty good. And I like the way that these hands turn out pretty good and stuff. So like definitely a more simple kind of cartoony style, but I think it's good. Then I opened up his Dragon Grin zine and I drew the dragon from, or not Dragon Grin, sorry, Dragon Town. Dragon Grin is a completely different book. Dragon Town, and this is the mayor of Dragon Town. So I drew him and I think it turned out fine. Then I drew some of the NPCs from Dragon Town. These are two sisters who are farmers, and they're okay. The hands are a little wonky, and I think their proportions are a little weird. But, yeah. Then, that was the end of this sketchbook. I filled the whole thing. At least one side of it. I didn't do any of the back sides, but maybe if I get desperate, I'll do that, but not today. So then, I started with a much bigger sketchbook. And I kept going with characters from Dragon Town. I'm going to raise this up a little bit more so that you can see it better. There you go. So these are all characters from Dragon Town. I drew this one with my wife. We both drew it, and she did a way better job than me. So that was awesome. Anyways, I do think that this one turned out pretty good. I like how this one turned out. I think that the little highlight thing on the hair turned out nice, and I actually tried doing some shading. I just copied his shading and it's fine. This hand is really janky though, but I think overall it's pretty good. I kept drawing Dragon Town characters, so this is the merchant general store owner. This is an old guy and then this is one of the enemies, a goatlin. And then I spent some time with family, and so I've got some animals on here. We went to the zoo, and so I drew some of my favorite animals from the zoo, a gold lion tamarin and a river otter, and I think they turned out pretty good. I also, I was determined to draw every day, and I'd almost forgotten one of the days. And so, you can see, this day, all I drew was these two faces. From Bustling Streets and Unsavory Alleyways, which is also a JP Couvert zine. And like this guy, same thing. I only drew that guy that day. Then I started playing some Kingdom Rush, and I had fun with that. And so I drew some of the enemies from Kingdom Rush. These are like the first 4 enemies that you meet. It's like a goblin, an orc, a shaman, and an ogre. And then I started drawing the heroes. So there's Alric. He's from Kingdom Rush Frontiers. I think he turned out pretty good. I think his hand pose is cool too. And then there's Mirage. I don't think I did a very good job on her. I think Malik turned out pretty good. And then there's Bruxa or Bruxa. Bruxa is how you would pronounce that in Portuguese, but Bruxa is how I guess this name is pronounced. I think I did a pretty good job on her. I think she turned out cool. And then Deirdre from Kingdom Rush Frontiers is awful. This turned out so bad. So yeah, that sucks. I think her hands turned out pretty good though. Her hands were okay, but I think Bruxa definitely turned out better than freaking Deirdre did. She's supposed to be like an angel, but she just looks weird. This is one of my favorite pages in this sketchbook because I think all these drawings turned out really good. So these 3 are, again, all heroes from different Kingdom Rush games. And I think like this is like one of the first girls that I've ever drawn that I was like, whoa, that's not a piece of garbage. Like, I think Bruxa is like pretty good, but like her eyes are like not, they're all skitty wampus and stuff like that. So I could have done better on her. But I think this one, I'm like, hey, I can't see anything immediately obvious that I messed up on here. Like this hand could have been better, but I didn't even use a reference for that. Like literally the picture was like this, and so I just drew the rest, and I think it turned out good for kind of making it up. Yeah, so I'm proud of how that one came out. She's got big hair. And then I backed this Kickstarter called Aether Nexus by Absolute Tabletop. It's an RPG. Super cool. Definitely recommend checking out Absolute Tabletop. But the reason why I backed the Kickstarter really was because I loved the art so much. So I drew some of my favorite things from the Aether Nexus playtest document that's out right now. This one I think turned out the best, but like these are really cool. Like obviously I copied them, but I think I did a good job at copying them. Like this guy's pose was really complicated, but I think it turned out well. And this guy's just like, the Happy Frog Samurai is just like a vibe that I want to summarize my whole life. And this guy's pretty cool too. So I'm really happy with these. I drew these on a plane. I tried freaking Dramamine for the first time on a plane because I always get motion sickness. That crap is magic. I love that stuff. But anyways, we're talking about drawing. So yeah, these were drawings I made on a plane, and I like how they turned out. And the artist who made all the art for Aether Nexus, his name is Ben Fluter. So definitely check him out. There's a couple more drawings of his. Like this is also from Aether Nexus, and this is again another girl that I drew that I don't hate. So that's cool. I'm really happy about that. I think I got her proportions really good. So I think that's neat. Then I drew this skeleton guy from a game called Pirate Borg, and I think he turned out bad, so I don't want to talk about it very much. And then Shark Week was going on, and I independently, because I didn't know it was Shark Week until afterwards, had a dream about a 3-headed shark. And so I drew it. And this was like just from scratch. I didn't find a picture of a 3-headed shark and draw it. I just like looked at different pictures of sharks going at different angles and then drew this. And I really like how it turned out. And I named him Surf Burris, the 3-headed shark. So I think that's fun. I'm really proud of this. Then we got Boba Fett drawn. There's this artist named Chrissy Zulo, who had like a whole collection of Star Wars characters, and I drew the Boba Fett in her style. Or their style, I don't know what the gender is, of that person. And then my brother requested me to draw a girl with like a really feminine face and then just huge giant muscles. And so I drew this. Like obviously it's bad, but I kind of made it bad on purpose, and I called it Gabe's Muscle Mommy because that's the name of my brother. That was fun, kind of just goofy and silly. And then I did an art challenge with my wife and my sister, and we drew this squirrel. So there's the squirrel. Then I found there's this page on Instagram called Warp Miniatures, and they made all these little halflings. And I think that they had like a fun style. So it got little halfling warriors, like a halfling guard, a halfling archer. I didn't ink this one in, but another halfling. Again, pretty fun, like just simple little halfling people. Then I was playing Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga with my wife, and we unlocked the Rancor, and I thought that was a super cool character, so I drew the Rancor. I think it turned out pretty good. I really like the hands. I think I did a pretty good job on the hands, which is cool because I usually make the hands super messed up. And then this is a turtle with a gun that's in the sky, which is just like a weird inside joke with my friends. So there's the sky turtle with a gun. And then I wanted to draw Daffy Duck the Wizard from the Looney Tunes show. So this is like a rough draft. And then I drew the full thing on the next page. Behold the wizard. I think it turned out good. I think it looks cool. I didn't do any shading, obviously. Like the only kind of shading I did is I made it darker inside the robes than on the outside. But otherwise, like I think it would look better with shading, but I don't know how to shade it and it makes me nervous. Overall, I think the drawing turned out cool. I like the drawing. I like the effect that I was able to get in the eyes that make it kind of look like they're glowing and stuff. Daffy Duck the Wizard, one of my favorite merry melodies. It's like this song where Daffy Duck pretends that he's a wizard, but he's actually just a normal guy. So funny. Definitely check out Daffy Duck the Wizard. One of my favorite songs of all time. And then, this is kind of fun. I wanted to draw a person, like no reference, just kind of use my brain and what I had been learning about anatomy and stuff. And so I drew this guy, and I was on the phone with my wife, and I was like, oh, I'm drawing an apocalypse guy. And she's like, oh, does he have like a machine gun and a leather jacket and stuff? And I was like, no, he's got like a ripped up shirt and a baseball bat. And she's like, oh, it's like a basic level 1 apocalypse guy. And I was like, yeah. And I thought that idea of like a level 1 apocalypse guy was funny. So I did, like, this is the level 1 guy. Then level 2 is more of what my wife was describing with like a shotgun and a baseball bat and stuff like that. And then level 3 was like, you know, he's got like the gas mask and like a cloak that's all tattered and a machine gun and like some cobbled together rusted weapon thing. And so this is the level 3. This is advanced. We've got basic, intermediate, and advanced apocalypse dude. I think that these drawings are okay. There's like certain aspects I think are good and certain aspects that I think aren't very good. Like I really like this pistol and the hand, but like his head is weird. I don't know what the deal is with his head. It just like seems too long, I guess. I don't know. And like the clothing is kind of basic, I guess. Level 2 guy is probably my least favorite. There's not a lot that I like about him. He's got kind of weird proportions. Yeah, I don't want to dwell on him, but I think Apocalypse, the third guy, is definitely the best of this bunch. I think I got the proportions pretty good, and he just like looks cool. And again, these were all original designs. I just came up with stuff and drew it, so that's why his freaking collar looks so weird. And then I was like, I had an idea for a level 4 and then a level 5 guy, and so I drew those too. So we've got the epic level apocalypse dude, which is like in a big suit and like a big chain gun, kind of inspired by like Fallout basically, but with my own little twist on it. And then level 5 is like the legendary like irradiated mutant monster guy, and he's holding a nuke. So these drawings are like this one's pretty basic. Like there's nothing super elaborate about the armor, and the pose is so freaking hard. I had such a hard time doing this pose. I literally had to redraw this like 17 times. It took forever to get the pose right, where he was like holding it like this kind of thing. I don't know why that's so hard, because it's the way you just draw the things at different angles. Ugh, not my favorite, but I think overall it's kind of fun. It was fun to draw. So that's all the little apocalypse dudes, the fun little mini project. Then I drew this guy from Index Card RPG, which has a very like like he makes the drawings to look like, I don't know if he actually used Sharpies or if he just makes them to look like Sharpies, but that's what this is. And I think it turned out pretty good, but it took so freaking long because I was using, the pens that I use are Sharpie pens with the tip that's that big, very small. So this took forever to color in. So I was like, that was fun and it turned out good, but I'm not doing that crap again. And so I wanted to practice some figures, some anatomy drawing. I think this one is probably the best one. This one's pretty good too. But I just like looked up how to draw figures online and drew them. And they're kind of weird. Like it looks like he's like got his shoulders really low. His hands are low. Same thing with this guy. So I don't really like these, but it was good practice. And that is everything in this sketchbook. And so next, we've got our current sketchbook. So I wanted to do more figure practice, and already you can see a 1-day difference between like these guys and then these guys. Like I watched a couple of tutorials on YouTube from this comic book artist. I don't remember what it was, so I can't properly give it credit. Sorry about that. But I just practiced drawing some torsos. I think this guy turned out really good. Like this kind of, like the proportions and stuff here turned out good. Same here. This girl turned out awful. So I don't want to talk about that. But I also kind of like learned more about how to shape the arms. So instead of, I was doing previously kind of like 2 tubes. You can probably see it with that. With this guy, like I was just kind of making them tubes. And so this helped me kind of learn better how to shape legs and arms and stuff. So yeah, I used those principles. I had just watched Across the Spider-Verse again with my wife and my brother-in-law. So I wanted to practice character proportions. So I tried drawing Miles Morales, Gwen Stacy, and then the Spider-Man 2099. And I think I got their proportions pretty good. There's something weird about Spider-Gwen here. I don't know what it is. I think it's something to do with like the transition between the hips and her torso. So I don't love that. But overall, I think it's pretty good. Get like a range of proportions and stuff. Then I drew Gollum with no reference, just like from what I remembered. And I think it turned out good. I really like this drawing. The people that I've shown it to don't think it's that impressive, so I like it a lot more than other people. You probably think it's kind of lame, but I'm proud of this drawing. For no reference, just kind of getting the proportions and stuff. Like you can look at that and be like, oh yeah, that's Gollum from Lord of the Rings. Then, harkening back to those halflings earlier, I wanted to draw my own little halfling guy. So I drew a little halfling guy. And then I drew this Fakemon from Garu. His name is Garu-Please on Twitter. He does like Fakemon commissions, and so there's like a fake Pokemon that's a roly-poly boar combination, and it turned out bad, so that was the last Pokemon that I drew. And then I found this cool thing, this cool artist named Pixel Prospector on Pinterest. And they, I guess, have a bunch of drawings of Star Wars characters, and so I wanted to kind of copy those. And I think Leia turned out okay. There's something weird about her head, and like it's kind of their style to have like smaller legs. Not my style, but I think Leia turned out the best. Like especially this arm, like that looks good. And like I don't feel weird about the way that I drew her torso, I guess, but her head is weird, and these two, I hate them. I hate both of them. Han Solo's hair looks so janky. Like it makes me cringe just looking at it. It's so bad. I think I did a good job in his hand, but everything else sucks. Same thing with this Luke. Like his hair is bad, his proportions are weird, bad, not good. And then I found this artist named Zigwolf, who I originally found on Pinterest, but then I found their DeviantArt page. And I really liked their style. And so I started copying some of the heads that they were drawing. So I drew like their Cyclops head, and like this is Ray and Poe Dameron and some person named Empress. And I really like this style, and you'll see that kind of going forward. I kind of adopted it. So then I drew Robin, the Damian Wayne Robin by Zig Wolf. I kind of recreated one of his drawings, and I think it turned out, actually I don't know if it's a boy or a girl, so I shouldn't say his, their drawings. And like I really like how this turned out. I like the colors, I like the pose, I like the proportions. Like this is the kind of art that I want to be working towards, like this kind of style where it's like semi-realistic but also cartoony. Like this is what I really like, and that's what drew me to Zig Wolf's style. And so I copied their drawing, and I think it turned out really well, and I wanted to practice those principles. And so I play Gloomhaven every other week with my brothers-in-law, and so I drew all of our Gloomhaven characters. So I was the Brute at first, so I drew the Brute, and I'm really happy with his drawing. I think he's cool. I think I got the muscle, like musculature, I guess, really well, so that's cool. Then I did a little art challenge with my sister and my wife where we just drew random stuff. So this is like a plant with a lollipop and a raccoon guy and a cat girl and a cat with a guitar, and all just kind of for fun. Then I drew the Cragheart, who my brother-in-law named Ignacio, and I think that's funny. I think this is okay. I think he's just kind of born, like, I didn't draw, there's not really a distinction between the parts of him, and it's just like a lot of like stones, so it kind of like gets lost. There's like kind of a visual static here. I don't love that, and I think the magic effect is kind of lame, but I think his pauldron turned out cool. And I drew more. There was Chandrian, who my other brother-in-law played. She was kind of hard to draw. I think her proportions are good, but like it was weird because she like technically has a boob hanging out, but it's like a rock boob. I don't know. It felt weird to draw that. And like again, her magic is lame, but I think her like hands are pretty good and her proportions are pretty good and stuff. And then we've got Grizz, the Beast Tyrant. And this one turned out super janky. Like the bear and the guy aren't even on the same level because I kept changing it, and like the bear is like a different style, and he just turned out bad. I just like his face looks weird. It looks like he's got giant dimples. I don't love this drawing. Sorry, Matt. Then I drew this is like Gloomhaven spoilers. Sorry. Character spoilers, warning. Sorry about that. So I drew my current character. She's the Sunkeeper. I like how she turned out. Her like boob armor thing was hard to draw, but I think it turned out okay. And I really like, I like how she turned out. I kind of like this pose that I gave her and stuff. I think that's cool. And then there's Sandra, who is like fine. I think this drawing is okay. It's fine. And then there's Edoras or Adoris or something. He's the Doomstalker. I really like how he turned out. He's cool. I think I like especially the proportions I got. I'm really happy with the proportions in this torso. Homeboy has big muscles. So I think he's cool. I think he's a cool guy. And I've been watching a lot of Star Wars Rebels lately, so I wanted to draw Ezra, but I just kind of penciled him in because I didn't really like how he turned out. But I think I kind of got his face shape and his hair shape in. But I like didn't erase all the lines and stuff because it was just for practice. And then I drew Hera from Rebels, and I think she's okay. Oh, she's fine. She's pretty decent, I guess. You can like I showed one of my buddies, and he knew that it was Hera without reading, so that's cool. That's a good feeling. And then I did more anatomy practice, and so I did this for like 3 days because I was really low on energy. I'd been working a bunch of long shifts and stuff, so I didn't have a lot of time for drawing. So I drew like some arms in different poses and some feet, and that one turned out bad, and a bad hand, and then some like okay hands. They're fine. And then I drew like a male and a female figure, and this is probably the best female I've ever drawn, like as far as proportions go, so that's cool. And like I think if you compare these to those other figure drawings that I made, Like looking at that compared to that, like it's just way better. Like, I'm not saying I'm perfect, but it's just like these just look so much better. So that makes me happy to see that progress. And again, didn't have a lot of time, so I spent 2 days drawing this guy, and it was like pretty half-hearted, to be honest. And then this day, I just I wanted to draw, but I wasn't in the mood to look up anything. So I drew these 2 crappy like Wolverine faces and this human face that I don't really love. And then I was just drawing this random person, and my wife asked is that me? And I was like, yeah. And so I made it her, and obviously gave it a ridiculous pose and the ridiculous proportions and stuff. And she's pregnant, and so I gave her a belly and stuff. So kind of, I don't know, just kind of dumb. Just that's why I called it random junk, because not really serious art. Then I went back on the Zigwolf DeviantArt page and just went through the faces and found faces that I liked and drew them. Sorry that it doesn't finish. I literally was working on this yesterday, and so I didn't have time to I wanted to, this is day 98 or 97, 98, and 99 right here, these faces. And I think these are pretty cool. The ones I think turned out the best are this guy and this guy. The girls' faces were hard to draw. These kind of look weird, and I think she's probably the best girl that I drew. There's just something weird. I can't figure it out. But there's just something weird about the way that I drew them that I don't like. I don't know. If you know what it is, tell me so that I can learn. But I think this guy turned out good too. And then finally, for the 100 days, I decided to draw Wolverine again, and that'll be my benchmark. So today, boom, there's my Wolverine drawing, trying to show off. I need to make that even bigger. That's my Wolverine drawing for 100 days. So obviously he's not perfect. Obviously I've got a lot to learn, but I can just see a lot of progress in this drawing. If I bring out my original notebook, this is my first Wolverine right there. And then we've got my 30-day Wolverine. So if you compare the two, I think there's definitely an improvement. Most notably, I think in the face. I think his face looks a lot better, and I think the Zigwolf, drawing faces off of Zigwolf, really gave me practice for that. And this was no reference. I just did what I remember from the X-Men movies of him wearing a white tank top and then jeans and his big muscles and stuff. And again, I think that I've gotten better at human proportions and stuff like that. I don't think this is the best drawing I've made in the 100 days. But because look, his claws suck. Those are bad. And his pants are skin tight, and it's weird to see jeans that are skin tight, and his shirt, clothing is definitely something I need to work on. But if you compare heads, the things I wanted to get better on, I think I definitely got better at heads. I think maybe I got better at hands. I don't know. Hands are still freaking hard. Poses is fine. This is kind of a boring pose. I haven't really practiced poses, to be honest, but I think I got way better at proportions. I think his proportions are way better than his. Feet, I think, I'd say there is some improvement. It's not crazy, but there is some improvement in drawing the feet. I'm happy with the kind of pseudo perspective of this shoe. Expressions, his expression is way more, way better than his expression. His is weird. His is hard to read, but I think this one is good. So I think, again, those Zigwolf practices helped a lot. Clothing, I didn't improve on really at all, I don't think. the clothing looks the exact same. But, so that's something that I can work more to improve. Hair, I think the hair definitely looks better. if you compare this to that, and like I just came up with this shape, I didn't copy anything, and I think that that looks really cool. It kind of has the Wolverine vibe to it. Yeah, so hair, I think I got better on, and everything about girls. let me find a picture of a girl I drew and compare it to one of the earlier girls that I drew, because I think that's another area where I made definitely my best work right there. Another like more progress in that area if you compare. Let's find some of my early cringe girl drawings. Like if you compare these one, like this one especially to this one, sorry it's kind of light, I'll take it back down so you can see it better. Like this one just looks a lot better, I think. There's like a little bit more perspective in it, and let me see if I go way back to before I started learning anything about drawing girls. Like this was one of my first drawings. That's so embarrassing. Or like these ones, like I drew like a Jean Grey and a storm, and if you compare like this to that, it's not even close. Like with the Justice League ones, since I was copying someone who's a real artist, like, you know, like it's not as big of a difference. I still think this one's better, but like it's not even close. Like before I started practicing, like 100 days worth of difference, this is just way better. So that's pretty cool. That's my art progress so far. I'm planning on continuing. I hope to make it to like a year of drawing every day, and I'll make a video there, and I think that would be really cool. I'm excited to keep growing and keep getting better and keep showing my art. This has been a long freaking video, 32 minutes, holy cow. So thank you so much for watching this far. But yeah, that's everything. So until next time. Yeah, until next time, ciao.